Hey, what's up? John Sonamez here from simpleprogrammer.com. And I got a question that I thought I would answer tonight, doing the low bandwidth version with the webcam, because I have low bandwidth where I'm at this beautiful, lovely cabin in the woods.
Hey, I just wanted to give a quick thanks to one of our sponsors at Simple Programmer, which is Dev Mountain Bootcamp. You should go check them out. The link is in the description. They are a coding bootcamp, and they can teach you web development, iOS development, UX design, a lot of good stuff. I get a lot of feedback from a lot of you out there that email me and have told me about Dev Mountain, so I decided to check them out myself, and I like what I found. I like their programs. They offer some 12-week intensive programs. They also offer some after-hours programs, which I know that some of you will like. So go check them out. You can see the link in the description below, Dev Mountain Bootcamp, and a big thank you to them for sponsoring Simple Programmer.
So I got this question from Roberto, and he says, "Hi, John. I wrote you some time ago, and yes, I'm still an avid reader of SP. That's good. I would love to tell you why I love SP and what I think you could do to make it better, but I know you like short emails, so I'll get to the point. I do, except I do like long emails when they're praising me, but, that's okay. Sorry, next time you can save it. Out of curiosity, do you actually enjoy programming? Sometimes when you speak, it feels like your programming was a means to an end, and I understand you don't do it anymore. I'm not being judgmental here. I'm just curious to know if you got fed up with it, or maybe you've always considered it as a job and not quite as a passion. Apologies in advance if I use the verb to be fed up improperly. It's all right. Maltreating your language is one of my favorite daily activities. Best wishes, Roberto." So this is an interesting question. A lot of people have asked me this, and I have considered this myself. Do I actually enjoy programming? So it may surprise some of you, but I actually do quite a bit. In fact, you might say, then, John, why, if your refrigerator is running, why don't you catch it? If you enjoy programming, why don't you do it? Well, I would like to. In fact, I would like to do some game programming. I really enjoyed game programming probably the most. I've actually enjoyed doing test automation programming as well quite a bit. I became a programmer because I like programming, right? Most of the jobs that I had as a software developer, there were a few, but most of them, I really enjoyed going to work and working on stuff. And I would stay late because I enjoyed doing the work. I liked writing unit tests. I liked building software, just like solving the problems, organizing code. It just fits my OCD type of personality, and I like it. I like it a lot. I really enjoyed it. In fact, I miss programming quite a bit. I always think about reminiscing how I'm gonna maybe get back into it, or maybe I'll do some courses on Simple Programmer, some actual programming ones like I did on Pluralsight. You can check out if you know what I'm talking about. Let's see, how do I point the Pluralsight courses I've done 55 of them. You can check them out there. And those are actually technical. So if you're wondering, have John ever programmed anything? Do I want to see John program? Just go there and you can check them out. And I did program. I did for most of my career, right? This is the new thing to me. But here's the thing. I'll talk about this briefly. Maybe I'll do another video where I go in depth, because this was meant to be a short answer. But most of my career, I was fighting against not being able to program. What I mean by that is that I've always wanted to just sit and code, but I can't do it. My purpose, right? My nature. I think I did a video on how to find your purpose. Okay. You can check out that video. And I found my purpose. And what I found, what my purpose in life is, right, as I've discovered this, is to learn everything that I can about something and passionately share it with other people and simplify it along the way, right? This is what I do. And so as you can imagine, as a programmer, even just starting out as a beginning programmer, I constantly was torn between doing what I like, which is programming, and doing what I have to do, what I can't stop myself, what I want to put a freaking piece of duct tape on my mouth and shut myself up, but I have to do it anyway, which is to share what I'm learning and to teach people. And sometimes early on in my career, I was a bit aggressive with it and a little bit arrogant. If I would say so, and I did it not in the best way, but I had to correct people when they were wrong. That was, sort of the broken part of the gift, if you will, until I found how to connect that purpose with some charisma, which is much needed. Everything, it tastes better with charisma. That's one thing to note. But it's all part of the same same stick. Two ends of the same stick, if it makes sense to you. But I struggled with that, right? All throughout my career, I was constantly being pulled into some kind of a mentorship role, into some kind of an architecture role, and some kind of instruction or mentoring or tutoring or teaching role. And so I rarely actually got to sit down and write the code. Now, when I say I rarely, what I mean is that like I didn't get to sit and write code 90% of the time. It was always like 50-50 with just about every job. Now, I spent a lot of time learning and developing my skills, right? And that ended up becoming something valuable to use to teach other people. So, and then what ended up happening is as my career advanced, those skills advanced more so. And I started really getting pulled hard in that direction. So I had to make some decisions, right? And I've always had to make these decisions in my career. There were different periods of time where I said, you know what, I just want to get a job just writing code. And I've done that multiple times, quit jobs, right, where I was doing a lot of mentoring just to get a job writing code, and bam, where am I in the next month or so? I'm spending a large amount of time mentoring, teaching in some way. That it is in my DNA. It is part of my nature. It is my purpose. I cannot avoid that. So with that said, I love programming. I really do. It is something that I enjoy. I hope to actually go back to it someday, and just because I like it so much. But I feel like I am not living to my highest purpose if I am just doing that. If I were to just try, and it's also very difficult for me to do, right? I would want to do it, but I can't, right? I think that's what it really comes down to. But when I think about things like Simple Programmer here, right, especially this YouTube channel and stuff, I'm able to reach a lot of people. I'm able to change a lot of lives. I'm able to make a much bigger impact in this world than I would just writing code. Now, there's nothing wrong with just writing code. I'm not knocking anyone who's a programmer who just writes code, but I'm just saying that, like, if I have the ability and the means to be able to do what I can do, right, which is fairly unique. I think there's less people that can get on YouTube and get in front of a camera and they can teach things and inspire people, honestly, especially programmers, than there are people who can write code. Again, not knocking programming, not knocking programmers. I'm just saying I think that ability, that set of skills is much more rare. And so if I ignore that and I just write code, I feel like I'm doing not only a disservice to the people that I could be helping, but a disservice to my own soul, to myself, by not fulfilling my highest purpose. So even though it conflicts at times with what I want to do, that's where I sit. And now all that is not to say that I don't like what I'm doing with YouTube and Simple Programmer and writing and teaching. I do. I love it. It's my purpose, and I do love it. Not all the time, but at the same time, you kind of have to kind of choose the path in life, not necessarily what you want, but like the intersection of three things, right? I think this is not original, by the way. Multiple people have said this because it's so true, but it's really an intersection of three things. It's the intersection of what you're good at, what you want to do, and what people like, or what values people, right? What will create value for people. And so that intersection for me is very clearly doing things with Simple Programmer, like the YouTube, giving speeches, motivational speaking, those kind of things where it's something that I'm really good at. It's something that I really like, and it is something that definitely benefits people. You could throw programming into that, but it's not going to have as large of an impact. But there, I think that's pretty much it. That's where I stand on the issue. Again, I don't not program because I think it's beneath me, or because I think it was a phase, or it wasn't a means to an end. Honestly, I'm not fed up with it. I never got fed up with it, even though it is frustrating at points. It just simply does not serve my highest purpose, my highest station in life. Whereas what I'm doing now, at least what I'm doing now, is on the path to that, whereas programming could never be that. I could never reach or impact the world in the way that I want to, or use my abilities to their fullest if I just programmed. It just wouldn't do that, and I couldn't live without reaching the highest potential that I have possible. To me, programming in that respect is a dead end for me, not for everyone, but for me personally. All right. Thanks for the question, Roberto. I appreciate it. Again, you don't have to worry about offending me. I'm perfectly happy to deal with the verb to be fed up, because I understand the frustration of being a programmer and being fed up with programming. Not to say that, I've definitely been fed up in my time. All right. If you have a question for me, by the way, I don't think I've said this in a while, you can email me at john@simpleprogrammer.com and I will send you back an automated response that's just to fill out a form. How beautiful is that? I could just put the link to the form here. Maybe I should do that. If you haven't subscribed already, click that subscribe button, and I will talk to you next time. Take care.